The Trump administration has announced plans to cut refugee admissions to a record low, just 7,500, down from 125,000 last year. In a sharp shift, most of those slots would go to Afrikaners or white South Africans in the 2026 fiscal year. The White House announced the move in a memo published on Thursday. The Trump administration described white South Africans, among other groups, the victims of quote-unquote illegal or unjust discrimination. US President Donald Trump, who has taken a spree of steps to curb migration, had largely frozen refugee arrivals since taking office. But his administration has carved out a striking exception for white South Africans, a group Trump has publicly described as fleeing a terrible situation. Human rights organizations have condemned the new policy, calling it discriminatory and deeply political. They point out, since the refugee program's creation in 1980, more than 2 million people fleeing persecution have been welcomed to the US. But now, with just 7,500 refugees set to be allowed in 2026, the refugee resettlement will be used as a pathway for white immigration in the US. President Trump has also repeatedly described the situation facing white South Africans as genocide, a claim dismissed by Pretoria and independent researchers. Whites, who make up just 7% of South Africa's population, continue to hold a disproportionate share of land and income. The group owns about 2/3 of farmland, while earning on average 3 times more than black South Africans. Much of that imbalance, scholars note, is a legacy of apartheid, the system built and enforced by white-led governments until its abolition in 1994, which denied black South Africans basic political and economic rights for decades. Today, Pretoria says its land reform policies aim to correct those historical injustices, not target any community. And that divide over perception, history and politics came sharply into focus earlier this year when US President Donald Trump hosted his South African counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa, at the White House. The meeting turned tense as Trump confronted Ramaphosa with allegations of attacks on white farmers, claims long debunked by the South African government. Trump even played a video which he said showed the graves of murdered white farmers. But when Ramaphosa asked where the video was from, Trump said he did not know. Later, it was found that at least a part of the video played and an image flashed by Trump featured events from Congo, now not South Africa.
And those people, in many cases, are being executed. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
The exchange laid bare how the White House's refugee policy has become entwined with its narrative on South Africa, turning a humanitarian question into a diplomatic flashpoint. As fiscal 2026 begins, the US refugee program enters uncharted territory. Its new face, critics say, reflects not the world's displaced millions, but the politics of preference and a profound redefinition of what it means to seek refuge on American soil. Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.